When the Buddha attained enlightenment beneath the Bodhi tree, he saw the truth of all things: impermanence, suffering, and non-self. But awakening does not end with seeing. It continues with how we think, how we act. This is the beginning of right thought. Samma Sankappa. Right view reveals the nature of the world, while right thought teaches us how to respond to the world with wisdom. It is the direction of the mind, from attachment to letting go, from desire to compassion. The Buddha said, "When the mind dwells in wrong thoughts, suffering follows like a shadow. When it dwells in right thoughts, happiness follows like a faithful companion." Thought is the seed of action and the beginning of destiny. Right thought consists of three directions: the thought of renunciation, the thought of non-ill will, and the thought of harmlessness. They are not abstract ideas, but living practices that make the heart light and free. From then on, the Buddha taught his disciples, only when thought is purified can actions become pure. Only when the direction of the mind is right can the path to liberation unfold. When the Buddha saw the truth of life through right view, the next step was right thought. It is not ordinary thinking, but contemplation aligned with truth. It turns the mind away from desire, anger, and delusion, guiding it toward equality, compassion, and wisdom. The Buddha said, "When the mind thinks wrongly, it plants the seed of suffering. Thoughts of craving bind us to desire. Thoughts of anger burn us in fire. Thoughts of cruelty distance us from compassion. These three wrong thoughts are poisons of the heart. They let us see, but never truly understand." Right thought shines with three lights. The light of non-craving brings peace. The light of non-anger brings gentleness. The light of non-harming brings safety for all beings. When these three lights illuminate the heart, thoughts no longer breed darkness. They become the power of awakening. Right thought is the turning of the heart. From "what do I want?" to "how can I cause no harm?" When one can see the mind before it moves, in that moment, awakening has begun. In a village of Magadha, there lived a Brahmin who sacrificed cattle to please the gods. He believed that blood was sacred. When he heard that the Buddha taught nonviolence and compassion, anger flared in his heart. "This monk dares to destroy our sacred tradition." The Brahmin confronted the Buddha, shouting, "Monk, you speak of compassion, yet you insult the gods. What makes you think one gains merit without sacrifice?" The Buddha looked at him calmly and replied, "My friend, to quench a fire, one does not pour oil upon it. To end suffering, one must cease creating it." The Buddha did not return anger with anger. Instead, he spoke with gentle wisdom. If a man offers a gift, and it is not accepted, to whom does the gift belong? "To the giver," the Brahmin replied. "So too," said the Buddha, "your anger, if I do not take it, remains with you." The Brahmin stood silent. The fire in his heart softened into warmth. The Brahmin bowed and said, "Never before have I seen anger dissolved in this way." The Buddha replied with a smile, "Hatred is never ended by hatred. Only by love is hatred ended." From that day on, the Brahmin no longer killed for sacrifice. He offered flowers and fruits instead. His heart now a shrine of compassion. Right thought is not an escape from the world. It is the purification of it. When we meet anger without hatred and respond to harm with kindness, In that very moment, the path of awakening has already begun. This is not an ancient parable but a recent real scene. In El Paso, Texas, a hate-driven mass shooting left deep wounds. And at a courtroom moment, some chose to respond with an embrace and forgiveness. The shooting occurred on August 3, 2019, at a Walmart in El Paso, targeting the Hispanic community and killing 23 people and wounding many others. The shooter was federally prosecuted and convicted. In state court, he later accepted a plea arrangement to avoid the death penalty. The state plea and sentencing hearings took place in April 2025, where victims' families gave their statements. At the state hearing on April 21, 2025, 26-year-old Patrick Crusius, already serving federal life sentences, appeared in the Enrique Moreno County courtroom in El Paso. Yolanda Tinajero, sister of victim Arturo Benavides, sat facing him. In a profound moment, she walked forward and hugged the defendant, saying she wanted him to feel her forgiveness and her loss. Another family member, Adriana Zandri, widow of Ivan Manzano, also embraced Crusius during the hearing. The courtroom fell silent. The images and statements reverberated widely. Crusius published a manifesto expressing racist motives for his attack. He received 90 life sentences in federal court in 2023. In 2025, prosecutors and defense reached a plea deal at the state level to avoid the death penalty, allowing for a swifter resolution and for families to address the defendant directly. Families' responses varied: anger, grief, and in some cases, the surprising choice to offer forgiveness. Seen through the lens of Buddhist right thought, this courtroom moment is a modern manifestation of the practice. Right thought is not weakness, nor denial of harm. It is a deliberate choice, not to let anger possess the heart, not to let hatred fuel our response. When Yolanda Tinajero walked to the man who killed her brother and embraced him, that act did not replace justice or erase loss. It was a form of response born of a different mental orientation, refusing to nurture anger within herself, expressing grief and moral strength in a way that broke the cycle of hatred. We must be honest. Forgiveness is not something every victim must do, nor should it be a moral demand. Anger can be a force for justice and reform. Some need time and space to heal. Buddhist right thought teaches how to manage the heart, not to replace law or public responsibility. Forgiveness may be a personal path to healing, but social justice, victim protection, and systemic reforms remain essential. In ancient times, the Buddha used wisdom to dispel a deity's delusion. Today, a grieving sister hugs the man who killed her brother. Across a millennium, these images echo the same truth. We can train the direction of the heart. Right. Thought is not abstraction but a practical ability. When anger arises, can we first recognize it, and then choose a response that does not perpetuate harm? This is a modern story of trauma and release. Hollywood actor Tim Allen said that, moved by a public act of forgiveness, he has forgiven the driver who took his father's life more than 60 years ago. This choice is a contemporary expression of Buddhist right thought, the capacity to choose not to let hatred consume the heart. Back in 1964, an 11-year-old Tim Allen lost his father, Gerald M. Dick, when a drunk driver collided with the family car. The trauma of that loss stayed with Allen for decades and shaped much of his inner life. Decades later, In late September 2025, a public memorial became the catalyst. At the funeral for Charlie Kirk, who had been shot, his widow Erica Kirk forgave the accused shooter in her public eulogy, saying, "I forgive him." The moment was amplified by media and moved many, including Tim Allen. On about Sept 25 to 26, 2025, Allen posted on social media that Erica's words deeply affected him and that he now forgave the man who killed his father. Tim Allen wrote on X, excerpt and paraphrase, "When Erica Kirk said, 'I forgive him,' that moment deeply affected me. I have struggled for over 60 years. Now I will say, I forgive the man who killed my father. Peace be with you all." Media outlets widely reported and commented on his public declaration. Note: the person Allen forgave refers to the drunk driving fatality in 1964, a historical event. Contemporary public records are limited. The case that inspired him recently, Erica Kirk's public forgiveness, concerns a separate 2025 shooting. The connection is emotional and moral rather than legal. One public act of forgiveness moved another person toward releasing decades-old pain. Allen has previously spoken publicly about the trauma of losing his father and its lifelong impact. Seen through Buddhist right thought, Allen's choice is a practical application. Right thought does not negate harm, nor substitute for justice. It is an internal decision not to let anger burn within. Tim Allen's public forgiveness is a letting go, a movement away from anger as the fuel of life, thereby lessening inner suffering. For victims' families, such a choice can be healing personally, while not removing the need for justice or societal responsibility. From Brahma's awakening to courtroom embraces to Tim Allen's public forgiveness, ancient and modern scenes remind us that the direction of the heart can be trained. Right thought is not abstract doctrine but a skill to practice. When anger, hatred, or regret arise, can we first notice and then choose a response that does not harm ourselves? This is a path of practice for people today. In the Buddha's teaching, right view, samadhi, is the starting point of the Noble Eightfold Path and the foundation of all awakening. Its essence is to see reality as it truly is. Dukkha. All conditioned things contain unsatisfaction and loss. Anicca. Everything changes. Nothing lasts. Anatta. There is no eternal, independent self that controls or owns anything. When one realizes these tilakkhana, the three marks of existence, he naturally sees that all pleasures, wealth and power, even objects of worship, arise and fade through causes and conditions. This clear seeing is not pessimism, but lucid awareness, understanding that all arising and passing follow the law of nature. Then arises right thought, samma sankappa. For once truth is seen, the mind naturally thinks in harmony with it, no longer moved by greed, no longer reacting with hatred, no longer acting out of delusion. In short, right view lets us see clearly. Right thought guides how we act. Right view is the eye of awakening. Right thought is its direction. From seeing to walking, from understanding to compassion, thus begins the true journey of awakening.